Folks, the trade simulator is swirling. Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Warriors. Yes, ESPN is talking about that. Of course they are. And Jay Williams on Get Up. Bobby Marks, financial analyst, NBA guy. I love him a lot. We're talking about how the Warriors can get Giannis. They said pull the trigger and it can be done. Yesterday I broke down Cat. A lot of interesting comments on that. I would take Giannis 1,000 times over Cat. But how do we make it work? I'm going to break it down for you on Warriors Digest. If we're going to use, once again, what are we going to use, folks? Let me show you. Our Fanspo trade machine. And I just want to put a disclaimer because I say this every time. When you say these comments, I know you're not watching the video. You're just looking at a thumb and commenting. I'm not saying I agree with the trade. Gutting the depth. I'm showing you how it's done because I see comments. I see Twitter, people saying, oh, trade Draymond, trade Steph Curry, trade BP, trade Moody. Yes, I'd love to trade BP for Cat. Yes, but the money has to work. BP's contract, folks. Oops, let me get you right here. BP's contract is $3 million. Moody's is now $12 million. That is why you can't put BP in for Moody. The money has to work. That's why I show you the website. Get it together. Get it together. This is me being mad at my rant. I am not condoning anything. I'm here to show you and help educate you on how the financials work when we do this stuff. Would I love Giannis? Yes. Is it going to deplete the team? Probably. Do we have enough to win with Giannis and Steph? If that's your two players? Potentially. But one player gets hurt. What happened here, folks? Can Giannis carry a team to the finals? Well, Damian was gone. And what happened? Bucks didn't do ish. So no, he can't. You need depth. Look at OKC. Look at Indiana. You win with a well-rounded team, not with this heavy star-laden league in this new apron system. So that's what we're going to break down today is how do we get Giannis. Woo! Your boy ranted for a little bit. I don't hot take here. So hopefully you guys like that. Comment your thoughts and let me know if you like me getting a little bit wild with it. So again, how do we get here? Bobby Marks outlined on Get Up. Jimmy Butler, $54 million. Draymond, $25 million contracts have to be pulled together to make it happen. At least one of them, most likely, because Giannis is owed $52 million. How would it happen? You're trading Jimmy or Draymond. Again, we don't really have salary to get there with Draymond. It has to be Jimmy. Now, would the Bucks take back Jimmy? Why would they give up Giannis for Jimmy? Well, the only reason is if they know Giannis isn't coming back and they can get Jimmy for 2 years. Maybe. And then you get draft picks out of it. Here they're talking about it like, buy Draymond, buy Jimmy, thank you for your service. If you Golden State, I would do it. Mike Dunleavy, go big fish hunting. Giannis is a perfect fit in the Bay Area. Him and Steph going well. Yada, yada, yada. You guys get that. I'm not trying to waste your time. So how do we make this work? You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, excuse me. Trade the Warriors. And let's look at this right now. Stephen Curry, $54 million. So we got to get there. If we did Jimmy Butler, hypothetically, if you just did Jimmy Butler for Giannis, the Greek Freak for Jimmy Buckets, would that trade work? Yes, because look at the money. Again, we're just looking at the money. I'm not saying the Bucks would ever do this. Warriors would do this in a heartbeat. Bucks aren't doing this. This works because you look at the Abrams space they both have, and you look at the money, $54 million, it works. But there's no way the Bucks are just giving Jimmy for Giannis. So we have to throw in draft picks. There's no way that they would do that. And you have to have consecutive draft picks to 2026. You're going to want a first round there. We'll say protected top 10 because they're probably going to be good if something happens. 2028 first round. They still have Giannis at this point. Maybe Steph's around. We'll say protect lottery. And they're going to want 2031. Let's say this is unprotected. Just trade the Bucks. Boom. But these would eventually default over. We'll just say this one's unprotected at this point. Trade the Bucks. Now let's try to trade. Failed. You're under the allowable income and the amount. Consecutive draft years, 2030, 2031, missing first round pick. So again, I'm showing you, because you can't just say trade first round picks. I'm showing you how to get it done. So we got to go back. Let's go back to the trade. We can't give up our 2030 round. So we'll make this a second round. Trade the Bucks. Trade the Bucks. And then we need to keep our 2031. We'll say this is unprotected, even though this is probably going to be a... Let's say it's a swap. Let's try this again. Success. So in this case, the Warriors are giving up draft picks, 4 draft picks, 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and Jimmy, because now the money matches for Giannis. Bucks have a chance to then package these to get younger. Maybe they try to go for somebody else in the East because you got Jimmy for another 2 years. But this is how it works. Now, if you look at Butler, reset, we want Giannis. Excuse me, if you look at Draymond, if you just did Draymond up, again, I'm just showing you this. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work because the money doesn't match. If you look right here, Warriors can only take back $25 million. We have to cut $28 million out. Not enough money there. So that is where you need to add up money. This is why you do Moody, not BP, because you need Moody's $11 million to get you there. BP's $3.6 million isn't going to help you. Buddy's $9.2 million is going to help you. That is where, if they want to retool versus rebuild, now you're giving up $20 million, $45 million. Is this going to work? Great. This works. Salary matching income is within the range right here of $7 million. Of course, now you have a big three of Giannis, Steph, and Jimmy, which is a pretty good big three. You got size, you got shooting, you got speed. Maybe not the fastest, but you get what I'm saying. You still have Brandon backup, and you're going to have to fill out your roster with, again, 3 players, total apron, $178 million. You're going to have 195. You can see right there is what your first apron is, where they're capped. $20 million to fill out the roster. It's a very top-heavy team still. Maybe they also want a first-round pick to come up, say, later, 2029, first-round pick, trade the Bucks. Oh, we can't. 2028. Let's just say they want a first-round pick in it, and it's there. So what am I showing you, folks? Again, how the trade works. Do I actually think Warriors can get Giannis? Probably not, to be honest. And that's not the point of the video. ESPN's talking about it, so we're going to talk about it and show you how it gets done. BP, let's just say we take out Moody and we make it BP. Try trade. Fail. Why does it fail? Because look at the money. $48 million salary we have to take back. We're at plus 15. We have to find $5 more million, and that's where, if you look at BP, is $3 million. You look at Moody, he's at $11 million. What's that difference? $8 million. That is how that works, and that's why you need to do that. So hopefully this gives you insight again how these trades work. Comment your thoughts. Do you think the Warriors actually give Draymond and Jimmy? The answer is probably not. But if the Bucks said, yo, we'll give you Giannis, you listen, you try to make that trade. Now, I know it seems unrealistic, but Warriors fans, we can hope. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.